It's now my pleasure to ask Luís Rodrigues from TAP Air Portugal to join me on stage. Please, thank you. Please, have a seat.
Thank you.
All right, so just as a level set to everybody here, when we had our prep call for today, we agreed that we were not going to discuss TAP's privatization, the status of that, because it is ongoing, it is not final, and so that's that. Okay, are we all good? We have to be good, that's the word. All right, onward. All right, so Luís, what I would like to start is simply asking, how is the business going? The theme is navigating uncertainty, and there are a lot of challenges. I mean, there have been the tariffs imposed by the US that may have affected demand. Certainly different economies in different parts of the world. Some are better, some are not so good. How is the business going, and are you pleased with the trajectory and outlook?
Good morning.
Yeah.
Thanks for all being here. Difficult to read.
Yeah?
The other day I was writing and I was thinking about an article that I have to write, and I did some quick research on the internet, and I noticed that the term VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, was first coined in 1987. What the hell were they thinking about? 1987. We had such a peaceful life in 1987. If they were to live today and if they were to rethink about it today, I don't know what term they would be using. So it's difficult to tell. There are some positive signs and there are some negative signs. And I think our mission on balance is to bring both, or acknowledge both, and recognize that it's going to be tough. But we need a long-term strategy, and we need to stick to it regardless of what happens, not structurally, and keep moving the business forward.
Right.
I think the industry overall, this is a long answer, but made me reflect a little bit. The industry overall tends to be overexcited when things look good, order new planes, and then when they come, we are in a downturn, and tends to be over pessimistic when things look bad. And I think our job as leaders is to balance both. I need to be cautious when things look good, and I need to tell my people this is not going to last forever, and they're going to hate me for that because I'm not taking the opportunities. But then it doesn't cost me that much when things go down, and they will thank me for that. Not that I'm expecting a thank you or whatever, but I think we need to be careful watching the signs, balancing the business. And in our case, we have a good geographical balance between North America, South America, Europe, and Africa, which is good, because not everybody is looking good or looking bad at the same time. We have room to grow in non-passenger business like maintenance and engineering. Huge opportunity to balance that. When things look bad, aircraft will be on the ground and there will be more maintenance, so we are there to do that. And essentially that's the way it is. Keep being very close to the passengers and to the airport and to the situations where things are happening, not in our ivory towers up there.
Right. So you mentioned the geographic diversity of the route network, and it's easy to focus on Europe and North America. They're two of the largest for you, but South America and Africa are areas where you have particular strength, and I'm just curious how you see their growth going, and especially with Africa, which seems to be emerging as a much stronger opportunity. Do you see opportunities potentially to expand in Africa? Is that something of interest to TAP, or would you, if you had only one new airplane that you could fly somewhere, would you rather fly to South America or to Africa?
I'd rather not answer that at this moment. But we make sure we do analyze route by route all the time. Brazil has been since ever the promising continent or the promising country. It still is. There's a huge opportunity there still. when we think about, I mean, all of you have been here in Lisbon for the last few days. Depending on whose data source are used, the tourism business is about 16, 17% of our GDP. Brazil is 6, in a country that is 20 times as bigger as Portugal. So the opportunity is huge. Africa is bigger than that. I know they have structural problems, they have a lot of things to do, but we are fortunate to be well positioned to tackle both of them. I know, we all know transatlantic traffic between North America and Europe is the biggest market in the world, and TAP is a very small player in that market. So it is not there that we're going to make it. Of course, we need to be there, and we are there very, very nicely, but our geographical position says, and we can't change that, says take the opportunities that were given to you and leverage Brazil, South America, and Africa. Not only geography, but culturally, we are very well positioned to take advantage of that.
And TAP is it a dozen cities in Brazil now, or is it more?
We're flying to, if I'm not wrong, 13 cities,
yeah.
Of which 9 are, we are the only European airline flying there. So you can imagine the openness and the welcoming that those communities have to our brand and to our airline. We're like the local airline, if you will. And it's good to be there. One of my key competitors is sitting in the audience, so I need to be watchful of that, but that's okay. and friend as well, so that's part of it.
If you could, would you want to expand to areas like the Gulf in the Middle East or to Asia? Do you think that there are viable commercial opportunities for the airline there?
Probably in 1 year from now, there will be a different answer to that question. But right now, I'll be doing what I'm doing best, which is Brazil, Africa, and North America. We're not positioning to go east, or to go west, sorry.
When the tariffs were announced by the Trump administration earlier this year, we saw a definite slowdown in travel within the United States, and there was some slowdown to Europe. Did it affect TAP, and has it recovered?
I think it affects everybody, right? Now, we are a very small player in that area, and we made sure that we keep a flexible operation, that if anything goes very wrong somewhere, we manage to divert operations elsewhere. So far, yes, we've seen a slowdown in North Atlantic traffic, but we've seen Brazil picking up again. Brazil has gone through a tougher period over the last year and a half, but now it's slowly picking up again, so we're balancing one with the other, and that's okay.
Okay. I want to touch on something you said a moment ago, which is that it's important for leaders to get out of their ivory towers and be in touch with their businesses. How do you do that as the CEO of TAP Air Portugal? Do you go out to the airport to walk around? How do you get out of the proverbial ivory tower of your office?
No, we do that. I think we're probably one of the companies where board members and executive committee members spend more time on the ground, talking to people, talking to passengers, talking to crews, and so on and so forth. And I try to read as much complaints and commandments that our passengers write to us. They write a lot of complaints, obviously, because unfortunately there's disruption overall. But particularly when they have something good to say, I make sure I pick up the phone and call the crew member that was named by the passengers. And it has happened to me a number of occasions that I called a crew member, and I remember a few months ago I called one and I told him, hi, I called from my mobile phone, this is Luís Rodrigues calling you. It was a moment of silence, and then he says, no, this must be a joke.
Yeah, that would be my reaction if I were working at one of the airlines.
It's not a joke. I'm calling because of the flight you did. Wait a second, and he told me, wait a second, let me sit down for a while because I'm not breathing well. It's only one, right? But I know he's going to talk to somebody. I know he's going to go on social media and say, the boss called me, and he had good things to say. And the guy told me, this is the first time in 20 years of my career that somebody at the top management calls me. Now, if you do that consistently over time, I think people will appreciate that.
Before TAP, you ran SATA.
Yes.
And when it was announced that you were leaving, I read that more than 100 employees signed a petition. They wanted you to stay or something like that. I mean, you were really beloved there. And one of the things that I've read that you've had great impact on at TAP is the culture. And I'm curious if you can share how you approached evolving the culture at TAP, because that's a challenge for leaders.
First, it takes time. It takes a long time. And what I need to explain to most people outside of the industry is this is a particular big challenge in our industry because there are significant groups of people, pilots, cabin crew, mechanics, that they can make an entire career in a company with never setting foot in the office. So they are not exposed to the building cultural stuff. We can only communicate with them by mass media or events like this. But even if we do something like this, and we have done in TAP, in a total of 8,000 people, 2,000 will show up, okay? So, but if you do that consistently over time, and if you tell them that they are the basis for the development of the company, I know the aircraft is very important, I know the airport is very important, but without the people, you don't do anything, as our Secretary of State just said before. So when we first got here in April 23 and the salaries were cut by 50 to 30%, the question was, should we recover the salary gap again quickly enough? And the Excel spreadsheet didn't play out. But you have to do it, you had no other option. Because if the people on flying the planes and fixing the aircraft are not happy, are thinking about how do they pay the bills, how are we going to have a safe operation? So there was a bet that we did, and I think it paid out. I think people are quite enthusiastic these days.
You know, I read in an interview where you said Portugal exports its talent, its people. That the concern you have is the country loses its young people to other countries where they perceive there are better opportunities. What are you doing to keep younger people, as they go through their studies, interested in, how are you creating interest in aviation careers and making them want to come to work for TAP if they do want to pursue careers in airlines?
The industry has been through a rough period with COVID, like many others, but this one in particular, because many well-experienced people left. They didn't consider that there was a life outside of aviation. And when they left, they realized there is. And I think the industry is not so fashionable, attractive to the younger generation as it was 10, 20 years ago. So we have to make sure we keep close to them. We tell them that if they want a challenge, this is it, because this is the most challenging industry that at least I came across, and I've worked in several others. And it was actually not me saying that, but some consultant and Warren Buffett. That we tell them they can come and see new worlds, that they can interact with a huge diverse number of people in a huge diverse number of places like this one. And just hold them by the hand. Keep close to them. Again, if we stay in our ivory towers, nothing's going to happen. But if you give them the challenge, and now the challenge is you will be soon be integrated in a huge aviation group, not only TAP anymore, but in a huge aviation group wherever it comes from. And I'm not even looking at Luís to make sure that I'm not misinterpreted.
Right. So let me ask, since you brought it up, at some point there will be a company that buys that 49.9% stake. how does it make you feel? You have led this company through some very tough times over the past few years. You will be turning over the reins of the company, not necessarily, you may still be there, but how does it make you feel that at some point TAP will no longer be an independent airline?
Oh, it's a natural process. I think the times of proudly alone are gone. There was a time when that was possible, not anymore. If you're proudly alone, it's going to be very tough. So we are happy to be integrated in a larger group. What we tell our people is, let's keep working as if it's not going to happen. Because first, we don't know if it's going to happen or not, materialize, but hopefully it will. But if we paralyze waiting for somebody to come, whoever will be, they will come here and say, these people are paralyzed. They are no good to me. Out. If we keep working like if it's not going to happen, like if our future depends on it, whoever is going to come is going to say, these guys are doing good. They're doing good work. Let's keep them. Fine. Then everybody has the opportunity to decide whether if they want to stay or to leave. Conversely, if you're paralyzed, there will be no option.
Right.
So that's basically it. So it's okay.
Good. We are out of time for our session, but I look forward to having you back on stage with Luís Gallego and Willie Walsh in a few minutes.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking Luís Rodrigues for his time. See you back upstage.